Hello, my building code and construction family. My name is Sean Simon. I'm a building code administrator, I'm a building code inspector, and I'm a plans examiner in the state of Florida. This podcast is going to be about Q&A concerning the building codes, specific questions that, contractors, engineers, builders, and building code inspectors as well might have. One of the most common questions I get from homeowners, contractors, and engineers alike is, how do I prepare for an inspection? First and foremost, the most important part of the inspection would be having a set of approved plans on the job site ready for inspection. The reason that this is so important is because an inspector only does inspections as per the approved plans, or they're only supposed to do it as per the approved plans. So whatever is on your plans should match your installation. Now, if there's any deviation from the plans, you need to have your plans revised or have a red line drawing done to make sure that your installation is in compliance with your approved set of plans. There's not a one-size-fits-all for all inspections, because more than likely whenever you call for an inspection, it's going to be one of four disciplines. It's either going to be mechanical, electrical, plumbing, or building, or it might be low voltage. So for all these inspections, also for every inspection, there's going to be a stage of the inspection. So let's say for plumbing, you might have an underground, you might have an above ground, you might have a rough. So basically it's not a one size fits all to be prepared for the type of inspection you call for. So if you call for an underground, right, you got to make sure your pipes underground, it says it's an underground plumbing, make sure your pipe in the underground is filled with water, and make sure it's supported as well. Second question is, how do I ensure that I pass an inspection? Basically, the way you ensure that you pass an inspection is you do everything as per plans and as per what's required by the building code. So if it's plumbing, you need to make sure you got your hangers, that your plumbing pipes are secured, and make sure you got water in there for tests. Now, if it's mechanical, for your ductwork, you need to have your hangers, make sure your hangers are spaced as per code, and make sure your duct connections are sealed. Providing these things are done correctly, for a rough inspection, you'll be able to pass your rough inspection. So question number three, I was asked, how long does a typical inspection take? Every inspection is not typical. You could go from an inspection could take anywhere from 5 minutes, an hour and a half. It depends on the complexity of the inspection, and it depends on, the square foot area of the place that's being inspected. The inspector has to climb up on a roof. The inspector has to climb underneath the house. So that all depends on the type of inspection and the area and the square foot area that is being inspected. Another question I get a lot is, what are the consequences for failing an inspection? The consequences for failing an inspection is, you lose time on your project. So you really want to try your best to pass your inspections so you can move on. Because if you call for underground inspection and you got cement coming that same day or the day after, you got cement that's scheduled for the day after, you won't be able to schedule your cement because you didn't pass the inspection. You can't cover it up if it's not passed. And same thing with an in-wall inspection. If you're doing an in-wall rough inspection and you fail your in-wall plumbing, electrical, mechanical, or you fail your framing, you're not able to call a sheetrock guy to come in and put up the sheetrock so you can have a screw inspection or do an installation inspection. It's not a crime to fail an inspection. All you got to do is make sure you comply with the code and correct the deficiencies for the following inspection. So you could fail an inspection today, and by the end of the day you could get a re-inspection and get it passed, or you could fail an inspection today and by The following day, you could call back for an inspection. And once the deficiencies have been taken care of, you could pass the inspection. So it's really not a big deal. It's just a matter of how long you take to fix the deficiencies. So this is really on you, that you determine as the contractor, determines how long it's going to take you to get your re-inspection and get your deficiency taken care of so you could pass the inspection and move on to the next phase of your project. Okay, another question I get all the time is, how often should inspections be called in? Inspections should be called in as soon as a phase of work is done. So as soon as you're done with the underground, you call in for underground inspection. As soon as you're done with the framing, you call in for framing inspection. As soon as you're done with the rough mechanical, rough plumbing, pressure test. It's all about the phase of work. As soon as you're done with the phase of work, you call it in and it should be inspected. The reason why inspections are required and are extremely important is for life safety and property damage. We do inspections for to test life safety systems and to avoid property damage. That's the only reason inspections exist. Calling for inspections or having inspections done should not be something that you're nervous about once you do the work as per code. And even if you don't do the work as per code, the inspector should direct you to the code, or should direct you to how it should be done to have these deficiencies taken care of so you can move on to the next phase of your inspections. And to all my contractors, homeowners, developers, engineers, if you have any questions concerning the building code, permits, inspections, plan reviews, you can reach out to me. The information is in my description. And thank you for viewing. See you guys next time.